in school was chatterbox. Every report card said Adee is a social butterfly. And there was a reason for that. I didn't like to be alone. That followed me into adulthood. I didn't go to movies alone. I didn't go out to eat alone. I just wanted to be around people. When I was 30, I met Shirley. We were colleagues first. We fell in love later. After 2 years of a long distance relationship, I moved to New York. And eventually we had a baby, moved to Montclair, had a wonderful life. We did everything together. We were always together. Our friends made fun of us because we would even like to run errands together. We'd wake up in the morning and leave for work and call one another from our separate cars to talk about some interesting story we had just heard, or sometimes a really long and boring story on NPR. We would come home after a long day of work, put Ari into bed, and then that was our time together. Our time to just hang out, talk, catch up, watch TV. Shirley was always there. The first week into my second pregnancy, Shirley was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. She fought for 7 long, hard years. And towards the end, when she was too sick to leave the house and to go out, she would stay home, and the kids and I would go out. We would come back, and we would all pile into bed and tell her all our stories of the day, all our adventures. And she was still there. And then Hurricane Sandy hit. So we were one of the only ones that did not lose power in that storm. Our best friends, Heather and Jeff, and my brother and sister-in-law lost power. They all came to live with us, their kids, everybody. So we were 13 people staying in our small house. And on the 4th day of the storm, we had an appointment in the city at Sloan Kettering with the oncologist. And we went in to see Dr. Sabatini, and he sat across from us, and he said, "You're out of options. There are no more chemos to try. There are no more clinical trials in which to participate. It's time to think about how you want to die." He said, "Do you want to die at home? Maybe you want to think about hospice? These are the things you need to think about now." We drove home, and I remember it was a blackout in the city. I don't know who remembers that, but we drove home in the darkness, and we were so angry and grief-stricken and in such denial, and I was really in denial. I mean, there was no fucking way I was going through my life without Shirley next to me. So we got home, and we had this weird experience of coming into our house filled with light and noise and all these people. And we walked in, and the kids had piled up their pillows and their blankets in the living room against the wall where they had cleared room for this crazy long sleepover we were all having during the storm. We decided to put a brave face on for the day, try to get through the evening with the kids. And that night, as we lay in bed crying and holding each other, we said, let's just get through the weekend, and maybe there'll be school again on Monday. And the kids will go to school, and the adults will go to work, and then we'll deal with this. So Monday came, and Shirley had an early morning appointment, and she left the house, and I actually went into work for a couple of hours because we were open. And we made a plan to meet back at the house. I was sitting in my office when my sister-in-law called and said Shirley had collapsed in the street, and I'm with her, and the EMTs are here. And they said, meet us at the hospital. And I knew exactly where they were, so I ignored their advice, and I drove like a crazy person to get to the site where they were. And I got there just as they were loading Shirley into the back of the ambulance. And I convinced the EMTs to let me ride with them. So I rode in the front while they worked on her in the back and tried to revive her. We got to the emergency room, and they were still working on her, and they let me in. And I watched as they worked on my wife. And I left, and I paced the halls, and I said, "Please wake up, just please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up." Eventually, our best friends Heather and Jeff came, and then my brother and Melissa came. And later, 6 other friends came, and for the next 24 hours, we waited for Shirley to wake up. The next day, the doctor said, she's not going to wake up. You need to let her go. And I went into the room and I lay down beside her and I whispered in her ear and I said, it's okay. It's okay. You can go. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. It's okay. You can go. And I looked up and all my friends were around me. And Heather literally half carried me out of the room. And you know, Shirley didn't want to die. She fought like hell to stay and to live. And she didn't want to leave me or our children. But when she did die, she left me surrounded by friends and my brother and my sister-in-law. And I knew I was never going to be alone again. Thank you.